Timestamps can be found in the description. I knew during this 31 days I was going to find some absolute, how do I phrase this politely? Shit shows. Welcome to Game of Death. Now, I selected this one because I know I have to knock out several in a day to catch up to me having a busy weekend. This movie sucks. Like, I'm normally kind of nice-ish with bad movies, but this movie sucks. With the amount of, like, production that they got to put into it, that they allowed this movie to have, this movie sucks really badly. Also, there's no wiki on this one, so the wiki deep dive will be me trying to remember this really, really bad movie. Let's talk about it, shall we? Here, we'll do the quick plot, right? Just should be simple. It's fine. This is the 2017 Game of Death, by the way, not the Bruce Lee one, because that movie's good. Let's talk about the quick plot, shall we? Under the spell of an evil board game, 7 teenage friends must kill a certain amount of people to prevent their own heads from exploding. Right? Simple. Survive the night, beat the game style thing. Whatever. It was an hour 20. I'll knock this out. Let's talk about it in depth, shall we? The first 10 minutes of this movie is a teenage party, and it's all just sex, drugs, and attempting to build some sort of character that doesn't exist for any of them. You have the skeptic drug dealer. You have girl 1, goth girl 1, normal girl, blonde girl 2, dark-haired girl 3, guy in cast, jock with new tattoo, and psychotic emo boy. That is your 7, I think. Let's double check it. Goth girl, dark-haired girl, blonde girl, okay. That's all the women. Jock with tattoo, emo boy, pizza delivery drug dealer, and guy in cast. That is your entire cast of this film, minus everyone else they come across. So the beginning of this movie is them kind of just fucking around. It's just sex, the little drugs, alcohol, and then while the blonde girl is, I don't know how to phrase this any more politely, riding this dude's face like it's a Shetland pony, looks over to see, oh, a board game. We should play a board game. So they find the game, because you have to find the game. Got to go full Jumanji and just see it, and suddenly it exists and it's evil. The 7 super defined characters put their hand on this game and it draws blood from them. The skeptic guy who believes in conspiracy theories and lizard people freaks out, saying that it's giving everyone AIDS and we're all gonna die. Like, righty then. Shortly after, they read a little bit more and it says something along the lines of, if the amount of people weren't killed by the end of this game will blow your mind. Something. I wouldn't have as much of a problem with this movie if it wasn't so fucking slow. Like, if for an hour 20 you're expecting this to kind of go pretty fast, or at least have a moderate amount of, motion going on, but instead they fill like 30 to 40 minutes of this movie with just super fucking slow motion. Just the end of the movie, they just hover around one of the characters and just 360 it for like 5 minutes. There's another 5 minutes of just a makeout scene. It's like this is 2017. Jeez, come on. Move it at all. Anyways, he freaks out. We're all gonna die. It's giving us AIDS. This is something to do with the government, bloody blah blah. Shortly after, since all of them stop playing the game, the jock with the tattoo, that's his entire character, gets a headache, and they one of the few things they do well is that whenever their heads begin to explode, it actually looks decent. But his head explodes. Of course, everyone gathers around him, which is a theme with two of the seven main characters' deaths. They all kind of circle around him like it's a Gallagher show, and they just, as they all just get thrown red paint onto them. They all freak out, scream, "What's going on? Somebody shot him. I don't know." They run inside. Slowly, soon they hear a knock at the door after all of them are freaking out. Tommy, I think his name is Tom, I don't know, the goth guy, reaches into his bag, grabs a gun that he brought to a party. All right. He shows about as much emotional development as a rock. After that, they hear a knock at the door. An old man gets pulled in by the group because they think he's the shooter because he's the next door neighbor and he was making weird gestures earlier in the day while they were all dancing and doing nothing. They drop him to the ground and say, "We know you killed him. What are you doing? Why did you shoot Joe Bob McGee?" He said, "I don't know what you're talking about." And as he's saying this, guy with cast is leaned up against the wall holding his head, and of course, because he's holding his head, his girlfriend and two other people say, What's wrong? What's wrong, cast guy?" His head explodes, covers all of them, ends up in half of their mouths. It feels like Drag Me to Hell because everything ends up in all of their mouths several times. I don't know why. Them seeing that the counter goes down and it says 1 down, ha 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 ha. They have to kill 24 people. They're down to 22 now. Emo Tom gets the idea that everyone, we're gonna have to kill 24 people or we're all gonna die. So he turns and shoots the old man on the floor. Everyone kind of freaks out for a second, and he pretty much threatens them all to hop in the pizza truck that the pot guy or the weed guy brought. He refuses. He threatens his friend, driver, whatever, to start driving. He begins to drive. As they're driving down the road, they begin to pass a runner. They run over the runner. As soon as he runs it over, they don't hear the number on their little Game Boy go off. I say Game Boy, it's a giant octagon box that they're having to carry around, which is just clunky design. They run him over. The number doesn't go down, so he makes them back up. And so he backs up, and they do another good physical. I can't think of what it's called, like physical effect of this dude is pretty much split in half on the road. And sure enough, Emo Tom walks up to him. He realizes he's still not dead, even though he ran over him twice, and he stomps him twice in the head and says, "Now he's dead." Like, the guy who wrote him feels like he should have written for the comic The Boys because it's just so edgelord for no apparent freaking reason. Shortly after, and they're all, for a long time, all staring blankly, that they realize that they're going to have to do this a lot more times, and the only other person to really side with Tom is Emo girlfriend, aka Emo Tom's girlfriend. We'll call her Jane, because I don't freaking know nor care. Emo Jane and Emo Tom realize that there's another runner coming up, and she books it for her life, which they decide to randomly use first-person camera on this woman. They don't use it for the rest of the fucking film, but they decide to let's make it feel like it's you. They're hunting you. All right? No one cares. Not one person cares. She begins to take off. He misses a point-blank shot, and then two more. Finally hits her, walks up to her, and the entire thing's filmed from first-person's perspective, just staring down the pipe of one of these things. As he's like, "You should shoot her, Emo Jane." "No, Emo Tom, I think you should shoot her. I don't think I could do it. She seems innocent." He says, "Fine," and shoots her like 9 times. I don't know how many bullets his gun had, or if he decided to take his full backpack of weaponry with him, but he doesn't reload one time in the movie. Also, the flashbang on this thing goes out to about this far, so unless you're shooting sparklers, I don't understand what's going on. Next, it sharply cuts to a ranger station with a bulldog and a lady feeding said bulldog, and she's fucking annoying. I know she was probably given those directives, but she sings 3 times in the movie, makes it almost feel like a musical for no reason whatsoever. After she leaves that, she ends up driving up to the group. Only reason why they show her. She comes out with a loaded shotgun, or I am assuming it's a shotgun. Ask what's going on. They say they hit a deer and drug it into the woods. That's why they're all covered in gallons of blood. Only 4 of them are out of the car, so 1 is still sitting in it holding the box. And there's a certain amount of time that would happen before the bomb, the brain blast, whatever you want to call it, Jimmy Neutron, would go off and kill one of them. None of them can hear it because it's in the car. As she's questioning what's going on, they asked not emo girl, blonde girl, says, Tom, let's just talk this out, put your gun away. They seem to have talked themselves out of the situation involving with the Ranger. The Ranger begins to back away as in the car you just see a paint bomb go off, meaning that they took too much time, and now Cast Boy's girlfriend, brown hair, her name doesn't fucking matter because none of them have a personality except for right, wrong, emo, and normal person. As soon as that goes off, the Ranger freaks out, points the gun at him. Emo Tom holds blonde girl. It's getting more difficult. Holds Ashley accountable. Or is it Ashley or Beth? It's Ashley. I don't even think she was blonde. I think she was red hair. Doesn't matter. Holds Ashley, aka other normal girl that's not dead, by gunpoint, says don't move or I'll kill her, which is a win-win for him, honestly. Hops in the car. He drives away with emo girlfriend, which is Beth. They drive off. Cuts to emo Tom saying emo things like, I would have killed the world for you. I don't even know if I can count as one number, that's fine. She's like, shut the fuck up, what are you saying? He's like, would you have killed yourself for me? She's like, no. And like that's their actual conversation. We cut back to the pizza delivery boy and Ashley. His name is Tyler. Cool. Doesn't matter. Cut back to both of them as they're trying to talk to the woman. It flashes to Tyler having a major headache. His head is literally coming off of his skull is protruding almost out of his face as Ashley turns with a tire iron, a crowbar, beats the woman to death with it. She, by the way, this is me summing it up, she sings to them for like 3 minutes the Pizza Hut theme song, and I can't make that up. She beats the woman to death. Cool, fine, whatever. They realize that they're gonna have to kill all the other group because 21 is not the same as them. I don't know. They steal her car. Tyler calls his work to see if they can track his pizza delivery car. They can, and it says they're going to a care center. Gasp. It's like, some people need to be put out of their misery. Thank you, emo Tom. I don't give a fuck. They go to this hospital where you're going to get introduced to another new character, which is unnecessary. Hooray. It's a little sick girl named Samantha and a nurse who said, you only got a couple more weeks. My mom said that last week. Doesn't matter. Just you're here to make them feel bad about being here. Shut up. Emo Beth, emo Tom are walking through this place, shooting anyone and everyone. They decide now this is a perfect time to have a music video and have weird animations throughout it. There's an anime at one point in time. There's like a Bullet for My Valentine music video going on. It makes no frickin' sense, but it's there. After that, Ashley and Tyler get there, find the nurse, and say, call 911, our friends are here and they're killing all your patients, because the such good nurse put her headphones in and hasn't been able to hear gunfire. We get to the oh wait, no, I forgot. When they first get to the hospital, they make out for 5 fucking minutes on your screen. Why? Anyway, we finally get to the big showdown. Emo Beth finds Samantha, a sick child, and they just stand at each other like it's Thanos meets Captain America for like 3 to 4 minutes. Sam asks for Beth's name, and she says, I'm not telling you, Beth. Samantha says, I'm Samantha, and this is like a 10-year-old fucking girl. It doesn't matter. They're sick. It's whatever. It's fine. Long story short, they hover around that forever, and then Ashley and Tyler show up and try to convince her. It's like, if you wanna kill somebody, kill me, because they're down to like 3 on the countdown finally, because they went on a mass murder throughout this hospital. Cool, okay, bye. When Ashley says you should kill me, Beth begins to point, and that's when Ashley suddenly is super fast and goes, points, fires a slug, and the camera decides to follow this bullet in slow motion for like 2.5 minutes of just. I can't I can't make this up. I really can't make this up. Hits her in the head. Cool. She's dead. Fine. Down to 2. Tom finds that his girlfriend's been killed 2 minutes later after he's holding her and like for like a long fucking time. Tom sees the gun. Tyler sees the gun. They both fight for it. Rar, 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 rar. And he punctures his neck with his thumbs. So emo Tom is dying, smiling. Kay. Tyler leans against the wall as the camera really slowly pans up to Ashley as he does this monologue about death isn't actually the end, it's the bonus level. She shoots Tyler like 4 times with a gun, with a shotgun, and it's hitting from angles that would not be possible. After that, the camera circles around Ashley for about 10 minutes as the police arrive. After this confrontation happens, they cut to a police's holiday event, and one of the cops gets the game of death. And he asks, does anybody want to play? And that's the entire movie. I summarized the entire movie in 15 to 20 minutes. Let's do scores, shall we? This should be fun. Let's talk about the plot. The plot itself is something that's interesting, but not really. A lot of these, like, we have to play a game, always flop so poorly. Like, I enjoyed Escape Room, that's fine, but then you look at things like Truth or Dare, and I'd rather play the game of death. The plot itself can have a 3, that's fine, I don't care. Scares, there's no scares, it's a slasher survivor, it's a 1. The threat is... It's an interesting premise for a threat, but they pull it off so poorly. I give this a 2 as well. Is this for newbies? No. Do I recommend it? No. Before talking about the final score, I just want to say this is probably somebody's like lifetime achievement of being able to put this out and stream it. I am somebody who watches a lot of horror movies, and you can't win them all. Sorry. This thing needed work, and I don't know if you just needed for anyone to fight back their own death at all to buy time, but a music video and 2 different musicals is not how you do it. It's not. Total score on this movie, I'm giving it a 2.5. Why a 2.5? Because I've seen worse with less funding, and I've seen better with less funding. That is The Game of Death. It can be found on Shudder. Goodbye. Nah, I'm just kidding. Everyone have a great day. Take care. Stay scared. Have a good one.